In today's story, we meet Emily, a young homeless woman who, on a cold night in New York, faces a fire to save a mother and her baby trapped in a car. Her act of bravery brings her closer to the woman she saved, revealing a journey of friendship, overcoming challenges, and an unexpected rebirth. So, what would you do if you were in that situation? In the chilly early hours of New York, Emily huddled in her tattered blankets beside the park, trying to find a bit of warmth. She woke to a distant sound, as if something was breaking. Lifting her eyes, she noticed a reddish glow piercing through the darkness. She stood up, rubbing her hands to warm them as she walked towards the sound. With each step, the glow intensified, revealing a car engulfed in flames, parked by the curb. The heat was almost unbearable, but Emily approached, her stomach churning as she heard a muffled cry from inside the vehicle. The windows were black with soot, but she could make out a figure waving their arms. She rushed to the back door and tried to open it, but it was locked. "Hey, I'll get you out of there," she shouted, getting no response. The cry repeated, more desperate this time, accompanied by a soft sob. Fighting against the increasing heat and shards of glass, she pulled at the door with all her strength. Her burnt and numb fingers began to slip on the handle when she finally heard a click, and the door swung open. Inside, a woman held a baby close to her chest, eyes wide with panic. "Come on, let's get out," Emily said, reaching out to pull them. The woman hesitated, but seeing the flames nearing the back, she accepted the help. "Hold on tight," Emily ordered, pulling her out and helping to carry the baby. The flames already licked the asphalt around the car as Emily and the mother ran away. They stopped only when they reached a safe distance. The mother's face was covered in soot, and she breathed heavily, but she hugged the baby tightly against her chest and looked at Emily with tears in her eyes. "Thank you. I don't know what I would have done without you." Emily said nothing, just nodded and vanished into the darkness as sirens began to wail in the distance. Firefighters worked swiftly to extinguish the flames engulfing the car, while medical teams attended to Rachel and her baby on site before taking them to the hospital. Rachel held her son tightly, still in disbelief that they had survived. The image of the young woman who rescued them lingered in her mind. She wanted to thank the stranger, but the girl had vanished into the night. At the hospital, after exams and treatment, Rachel reached out to the police and local media, pleading with a choked voice, "Please, help me find the girl who saved our lives. She's our hero, and we need to thank her." The story quickly spread through the news with headlines like, "Unknown Heroine Wanted." Reporters interviewed park-goers and homeless residents, trying to uncover any clue about the young woman who disappeared into the darkness. Rachel, still fragile, gave daily interviews, crying as she recalled the night of the fire. "She risked her life for us without even thinking twice. I don't know where she found so much courage, but thanks to her, I'm here with my son," she said, tears streaming down her face. "Please help us find her. I want her to know how grateful we are and how she changed our lives forever." For days, the search continued. Reporters scoured the city, increasing the sense of urgency. Witnesses provided vague descriptions, but a caregiver at a shelter remembered a young woman named Emily who matched the description. "She comes here every now and then," the caregiver said. "She's quiet, always wary. If you're patient, maybe you can talk to her." With the caregiver's help, journalists waited. The next morning, Emily appeared at the shelter, trying to keep a low profile. When approached and informed about Rachel's search, she hesitated, distrustful, but the caregiver's sincere plea convinced her to consider a meeting. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Rachel waited, hoping the young heroine would respond to her plea. She believed the entire city cared about her search. At the shelter, Emily hesitated as the caregiver tried to reassure her. "You can trust us. Rachel just wants to thank you," the caregiver said in a gentle tone. After a few moments of uncertainty, Emily finally agreed to meet Rachel. Reporters accompanied her, but kept their distance as the young woman was led to the location. Sitting in the waiting room, she was restless, watching the hospital's white walls and the patients passing by. When the door opened and Rachel entered, her eyes still red from tears, she immediately recognized the girl who rescued her. "Emily, is that you?" Rachel asked, her voice trembling. "It's me," Emily replied, averting her gaze, trying to avoid the awkwardness. Rachel walked up to her and knelt, taking Emily's hands. "Thank you. Thank you for saving my life and my baby's," she said, the words coming out between sobs. "You're our hero. I could never have gotten out of that car alone. Please, let me do something for you." Emily, uncomfortable with so much emotion, murmured, "It was nothing. Anyone would have done the same." "No, they wouldn't have," Rachel insisted. "You didn't hesitate before risking your life to save us, and I can't just let that go. I know you're living on the streets, and I'd like to help you find a better place." The proposal surprised Emily, who was accustomed to rejection and distrust. "I don't know. I've been living like this for a while. I don't want to be a bother," she said, unsure. "You're not a bother," Rachel assured her with conviction. "Give me a chance. Let's find a way together." Emily remained silent for a few moments, weighing Rachel's words. She finally agreed with a slow nod. "Okay, I accept." Rachel, relieved, hugged Emily, and the two shared a moment of tears and understanding. For Rachel, it was a chance to give back. For Emily, a glimmer of hope and trust. Rachel welcomed Emily into her home with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. She prepared a simple but comfortable room, offering what she could to make Emily feel welcome. At first, the young woman seemed reluctant to accept, but the warmth with which Rachel and the baby greeted her softened her defenses. The first days were an adjustment for both of them. Rachel wanted to help Emily find a job so she could rebuild her life, but she knew she couldn't force her. "Let's do this at your pace," Rachel promised, as they had coffee together in the small kitchen. Emily hesitated, stirring her empty cup. "I don't know if I'm ready. It's been so long since I had a job." "That's okay," Rachel replied, understandingly. "I just want you to know that I'm here to help." Over time, Emily began to open up, revealing fragments of her turbulent past, marked by abusive relationships, a broken home, and bad choices. Rachel listened attentively, without judgment, only offering advice and support. "I've made so many mistakes," Emily admitted, looking out the window. "I don't know if I can turn back." "We all make mistakes," Rachel said, encouraging her, "but you're so much more than your past, and you took a huge step by saving our lives." Emily gradually gained confidence, accepting Rachel's suggestions to look for local jobs. After a few weeks, she landed a job as an assistant at a convenience store. The salary was modest, but it gave Emily the stability she longed for. With a more stable routine, the friendship between them strengthened. Rachel, still facing challenges as a single mother, found in Emily a friend and confidant. Together, they began to overcome their traumas and fears, supporting each other. "I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you," Emily said one night as they organized toys in the baby's room. "You believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself." "And you gave us a second chance at life," Rachel replied, smiling. "I'd say we're even." In the months that followed, Emily dedicated herself to her work, becoming an exemplary employee. She soon earned her boss's trust and started receiving more important tasks. The small salary gave her a renewed sense of independence, and she saved part of the money, dreaming of a more secure future. Rachel, on the other hand, was happy to see Emily's transformation. As their friendship grew, they became like sisters. Emily helped Rachel take care of the baby, and in return, Rachel offered advice on how to manage her money and plan her next steps. One afternoon, while they were at the park with the baby, Emily sighed, watching the children running around. "Do you think I'll ever have a family like you?" Rachel looked at her fondly. "Of course you will. You deserve a full life. You've already proven that you're strong enough to build it." Emily smiled, holding the baby in her arms. "Thank you for believing in me. It makes all the difference." Little by little, Emily managed to save enough money to rent a small apartment near Rachel's house. They still spent a lot of time together, supporting each other through tough times. One night, while they were unpacking boxes in the new apartment, Rachel said, "I'm proud of you, Emily. Look how far you've come." "You gave me a chance, Rachel, and you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself." Rachel held Emily's hands and they hugged, a hug that sealed the friendship that had blossomed over the months. "And never forget that. I'm here whenever you need me." The story ends with Emily facing her new home with confidence. Now she understood that she had the strength to follow any path she wanted, with Rachel and the baby by her side, showing that the courage of one night can be the start of a life filled with love and hope. Did you enjoy this touching story of overcoming and friendship? Leave your like, share in the comments what you thought, or if you've experienced something similar, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more moving stories like this. See you in the next video.